Yeah, I'm good. That's good.
It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Welcome to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Brand new show this week. Tons of great stuff. We'll talk about, hey, what's going on in the market right now? It's kind of craziness all over the place in terms of stock market, gas prices going crazy. And there's definitely some very, very interesting numbers in terms of real estate. We've seen a decline. We talked a little bit about that last week. And so there's some significant drops in terms of buyer traffic, properties under contract. And we'll talk about what's going on here on the Grand Strand and really the real estate market, kind of what to look for going forward. And we'll dig into this week. We're going to talk about the micro market numbers. And so they're very, very interesting all over the place based on what part of the Grand Strand you're looking at. But we'll dig into those micro market numbers and say, look, what's my zip code? What's my area selling for? What happened last month? And this is one of the first times we've seen significant drops across the board in a lot of different areas. And we'll talk about that as well. My team and I were going through some data year over year. And one of the things we noticed yesterday even was if you look at new properties under contract, so that's not something that closed. We usually track week versus week. Look, the last 5 weeks compared to the same 5 weeks last year, down about 26% in terms of buyers that are going under contract. So very, very interesting numbers. We're still kind of holding pretty steady. We'll talk about what's happening with new contract numbers. We'll answer that big question I'm getting a lot right now. Hey, should I wait to sell? Should I sell right now? And there's different ways to look at that. We'll dig in and kind of just talk about some different scenarios there. And what that means. There's definitely a lot of gloom and doom out there. And my job, like I've been doing for 10 plus years, is to bring the data, bring the information, help you make the best decisions with one of your largest assets, which is real estate. And that's our goal. The good news is there's a lot of good data out there. On the flip side, they're saying, hey, look, houses, the value of houses are being protected, insulated a little bit based on just super low inventory. So we'll talk about what everybody's saying out there from a national expert standpoint and kind of what's going on there. The good news, though, our team's still absolutely crushing it. Some amazing success stories that we have, and we have from this past week. Also have a horror story, actually, somebody who is a listener who kind of tried to go on, a dollar store budget and didn't get the results they want, still not getting the results they want. And we'll talk about what's going on with that. But as usual, some great stuff. We'll talk about what's happening with interest rates. We have a little bit of relief this week. We'll talk about that today's show. Yes, and that's like the main PSA behind this show. The whole really public service announcements that it's such a big thing, and it happened this last week in that horror story. Even somebody who's been listening to the show for a very long time, someone who's affluent, someone who understands business, they make this same mistake over and over and over and over again. And it's really the main cause behind why we do this show, because it's always where all the horror stories come from. And here's the deal: they make the mistake of thinking that all real estate agents are the same, and it could not be any further, from the truth. Just like any doctor, any lawyer, I say all the time, if you're charged with a crime you did not commit, the last thing you want is the cheapest, part-time attorney who's tried a few cases. You want the absolute best, most aggressive, who can really dig into that certain type of law and give you a competitive advantage so that you can get the outcome that you want. But for some reason, when you're dealing with real estate and the largest asset, people don't think the same exact way. In that horror story example, right? Very fluent person, had multiple high-end luxury properties. I've been listening for a while, one of the cheapest amateur realtor they can find, and then can't figure out why the property hasn't sold because they're just based on who will do the lowest commission. And so you see this happen over and over and over. And I really want to I made a promise a long time ago to talk about this because people still make this huge mistake. We'll talk about in our success story today how we help someone get $40,000 more dollars than they would have got on their own, and also more than they ever thought possible for their property. So here's the deal. The single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only. That thing is the agent that you choose, period. Not your wall color, not the quality of your grass, not the time you list your property. It comes down to the agent you choose. And why that is when you sell a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one is handled correctly, guess what it does? Puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. If anything's handled incorrectly, aka they drop the ball at any point, that could be anything from the quality of the photos. I can't tell how many times I see amazing, nice high-end properties using cell phone photos. It could also be the order of the photos. They don't understand how buyer psychology is when they search, and so they put the best pictures on pictures 6, 7, 8. The buyer already clicked off your property. There's so many different nuances and variables that make a big difference. It also could be price strategy. It could be, does your agent actually answer the telephone when someone calls off that for sale sign trying to buy it? Do they respond to web leads online? If they do, how long does it take them to respond? There's all these different pieces that make or break the home sale that have to be managed. And so what we did is say, look, what has to happen in the right order to get the outcome that we want? And that's the way to, hey, look, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. And so we create a system that's proven repeatable, that creates maximum leverage at every single point for our client. It's like stacking the dominoes. We create leverage at point 1, at point 2. And at the end, what they do is they add up and create a massive competitive advantage for our client. And the system I designed is called the Guaranteed Sold System. And I noticed most agents didn't have a plan. They didn't have a process. They were just winging it. And so I set out years and years and years ago. I watched what happened in real businesses outside of real estate. And I said, how can we model that and have a predictable system that creates maximum leverage using two things? Number one is people, aka a big team. And number two is technology to manage those variables proactively before there's a problem and give us that advantage. So the Guaranteed Sold System, I designed it. We licensed other agents, other parts of the country, but it works very, very, very well. It's the only proven system, sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well. And so you want some type of proven system, at least a process to help you get your property sold, especially when you're dealing with one of your largest assets. What most agents do is the 3 Ps. Number one, they promise you the world to get the listing. They'll tell you anything and everything to get that listing, most of which is number one, which is very ironic that every realtor you talk to is number one. They're number one in their office or whatever it is, most of which they didn't really put up any numbers. The second thing they do is they put it to MLS. They take some cell phone photos, they put it into MLS, and then 3, they pray that someone else brings a buyer. Meanwhile, they're down the street trying to get the next listing. So what that means is they're happy to split the commission with some other random agent from a different company because that agent saw it on MLS. And that's what happens 99% of the time. And so we sought out to have a system that's proactive, that brings buyers in, that creates an auction type effect and creates more eyeballs on your property that helps drive up the price. And it also helps the property sell faster. And so that's the system that we designed. For buyers out there, guess what? It's the same exact thing you run into. Most agents don't have a system or a strategy or anything, not a process that helps you have a competitive advantage. So I sought out to do that years ago. We created this thing called the Unfair Advantage home buying system to get you priority access to the absolute best deals, foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation, the purchase price, as well as home inspection to get you to that closing table successfully. But the key here is you want a team of experts around you to, number one, guide you through the process, help you through the process, handle those nuances that make or break the sale, and really at the end that you have some type of competitive advantage in the process. So if you want to know more how they work, reach out, call me. Do not be one of those that has that horror story example we'll talk about a little later. 843-808-SOLD or blakesloan.com. Right back here after a quick break.
So what do home sellers, what do they need to know about the market right now? First, the market here on the Grand Strand, absolutely on fire. We're seeing record numbers in terms of prices that sellers are getting. It's almost unbelievable. We're seeing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars coming in the Northeast that are just coming bidding up properties and getting sellers more money than they ever thought possible. Got it. Now, how will that get them more money? That's going to help get home sellers more money because there's more buyers here than we've ever seen before. But we're not sure how long that's going to last. We are seeing that start to level off a little bit. Some of that interest has started to slow down. So sellers definitely need to take advantage of the super hot market right now before there's any type of shift. All right, as always, thanks for the insight. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corbett. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. You offer several options to home sales, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers at time crunch, we can agree to sell it by a certain date, take cash for a home, or even rent it.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time,
We use our proven marketing plan to sell to the highest price.
work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Got the market update for you, and we have two types we'll talk about today. I'll look at the macro market really quick for anyone that missed last week's show. A quick breeze over that. We'll dig deep into the micro market. Like what's happening to my zip code? That's the one I get the most questions about, the most feedback about is like, hey, what's my area doing? Because the Grand Strand's very dynamic, very different. Different areas have different, percentages that they're selling for, all kind of different types of properties. So we'll talk about that. What is the other numbers that we watch? We talked about this a lot since COVID-19. One of the things I started doing daily during COVID, when obviously everything came to a halt, I was looking at how many new properties are going under contract every 7 days, so we can kind of keep a pulse on, hey, what's going on? Because what happens is the numbers you look at that everyone uses, that we talk about every month, the overall market numbers, are really the rear view mirror, meaning they closed last month, but if you think about it, they really went under contract 30 to 60 days prior to that because you go through the loan process, appraisal, all those things. And so you can really forecast what's going on by looking at what properties are going under contract every week versus week. And so right now, in the last 7 days, 660 properties went under contract for $240,595,000, which is pretty good. If you look at last week's show was 690 properties. So you can see it's down a little bit, obviously about 30 different properties that, in that 7 day period. That volume was 240 million. So we're up, that volume is 240,017,000. So very, very close. You had about 30 less properties, but same type volume. In this past week, here's the main difference. So right now, as of this morning, there's 478 active single family homes on the market in Horry County. If you remember, it used to be like 300 about a month ago. It is getting more inventory, aka, there's more inventory that's sticking in the market, staying in the market. Just even on last week's show was 445 active listings. So you can see it's up in terms of that. The good news is last 7 days, 17 properties over $1 million went under contract, which is awesome. One of those, Matt and our team had one of those as well. And 106 properties over 500,000 that went under contract, which is great news. And so you're seeing it slow down a little bit in terms of pending deals. If you compare last year this time, it was significantly more. We'll just kind of keep seeing what's going on. If you look at the overall market numbers, what closed last month, a quick recap for anyone that missed last week's show, we saw a significant decline. We saw a decline of 17.5% in terms of single family homes sold year versus year. So if you look at, obviously last month, we're in May, those numbers were in April closeout. So last April, it was down 17.5% from the same month in 2021. So you're seeing a decline start. The good news is prices haven't declined at all yet, but price is always what we call a lagging indicator, right? So it's supply and demand based. You see the supply go up and demand go down. Eventually, you're going to see some softening on price that lags behind that later on. The good news is right now that we're still setting new records in prices. Right now for single family resale, median price of 21.9% at $365,500, which is awesome. Overall average price also new record, $486,414, up 28.3%. Huge jump there. And again, that was just when inventory got super tight. We have seen inventory bump back up right now, 1.2 months of inventory. We were at a low there at 0.8, 0.7 months, less than 1 month. And right now we're at 1.2 months, which is still what we call a super seller's market, meaning that the seller still has the advantage. And again, that's because inventory is so tight here and also across the country as well. And that's just one thing you're seeing a lot in terms of that. And so that's great news there. Condos, same thing really quick for anyone that missed condos last week. Condos also a significant decline, down 17.8% from the same month last year. Prices, though, obviously still doing the same thing. Seeing new records there. Median price up 38% from the same time last year. So significant gains for anyone that owns condos, also homes, to their equity. And we're seeing a lot of people cash out right now, get lots of money for that, especially investment properties, second homes, things they rented out, just didn't really want to deal with. They're getting much more than they thought they could in those terms. Right now, average sale price for condos up 33.8% last month at 265, 663. And so that's one thing we're seeing right now is really some less sales. It's not that significant yet. We look at a 17% decline. I do think we'll probably see that number a little bit larger once this month's numbers come out, because you're seeing it across the board. Property is sitting in the market a little bit longer. There's less multiple offers. And for me as an agent who's been in this business 17 plus years, I'm kind of okay with that to a point, because it was getting a little crazy. And here's the thing, right? That makes my job really much more efficient, because we're very, 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 very good at what we do. And so it makes it that much more important for you all to have a great agent. And so that's kind of where we're able to shine and do what we do. So that's just my point on that. But overall, looking at, I'll dig into the micro market. Just kind of bear with me. It's the hardest thing to do on radio because I have to fly through each area, but everyone wants to know, hey, look, what's my area doing? So I like to start out Myrtle Beach, which is like the main kind of hub. It really kind of leads the way for anything else. That's a 29572, 29577 zip code. Closed sales last month down 27.8%. So significant jump. So last April in 2021, there's 108 closed. This April, only 78. And also, here's a key number. New listings up 28%. So last year, there's only 93 on the market. Right now, 119. So if I'm a home seller and I'm seeing that, I'm watching sales go down, inventory goes up. I know lagging indicator is going to be priced there and it's softening. So at that point, hey, I may want to go ahead and think about, if I'm pulling some chips off the table, taking that right now and getting the most amount of money possible before you see any softening of price. Because the last thing you want to do, obviously, is chase that down. The good news is prices up right there in Myrtle Beach. Median price last month up 18.9%, which is awesome. So last year's 355.93. Right now it's 422.160, which is awesome. So significant increase there in terms of equity for everyone in that standpoint, which is awesome. Awesome news. Condo sales, they were down 8.3% last month in Myrtle Beach. But check this out. Prices for condos in the 29572, 29577 up 47.7% from 149 last year. So last April, median price was 149. This year, 220,000. So huge jump there in terms of overall value. We're seeing a lot of people cash out, like I mentioned. In terms of that, year-to-date sales, though, in Myrtle Beach, which is interesting for single-family homes, down 17%. So that's the same thing you're seeing. That's weird what you're seeing. Basically, the first 4 months, the final data is showing a 17% decrease in sales. That's something to kind of watch and be a part of. North Myrtle Beach area, 29582 zip code. Closed sales still kind of holding strong, up 3.0% from 66 last year, 68 this year, which is great. The good news is last month prices up 37.5% from 431,500 up to 593,131, which is awesome there. And inventory new listings is actually down a little bit, not much. So last year 90, this year 84, so down 6.7%. Year to date, though, closed sales still doing good. North Myrtle Beach up 11.2%, which is great. Condo sales in North Myrtle Beach area down 36.7%. So significant decline there. You're also seeing a huge gain in price for condos in North Myrtle Beach, up 49.8%. So median price last year, 207. Median price this year, 310. So huge jump, $100,000 plus in equity for the average condo owner in North Myrtle Beach last year, which is awesome. So a lot of people can get a lot more than they think they can. And that's one thing that's super important. Make sure you take into account what we do. We like to dig down to your zip code, to your neighborhood, and look at that data, because it allows us to understand how far can I push that price. And so that's why it's really much more effective, much more efficient than looking at something online. Or the Zillow or something like that. Usually right now in the current market, we can get much more than what you're seeing online, because the data they're using is older data and it's not really specific to your certain type of property and your certain type of neighborhood. So very, very important. Little River area, 29566. Closed sales, guess what? Also down double digits, down 18.8%. The good news is median price up 32.8%. For last year, it was 278. This year, 369, 155. So you're seeing that up, significantly, which is great news there. New listings pretty much flat, 1.0%. Last year, there were 98 new listings in that month. This year, 99 new listings. Year to date, overall, Little River sales are down 12.4%, which is, interesting to watch. They're very, very similar to Myrtle Beach. Prices year to date, though, up 35.7%, which is great. Year to date price, $368,975. Not a whole lot of condos there. Into Loris and Longs, 29568, 29569. Guess what? Also the same thing. Sales down 27.7%. It's really one of the first times in the show in a very, very long time we've seen multiple areas with double-digit declines, and it is something to watch and kind of look out for. The good news, though, price is still going up 28.1%. So last year it was $225,900. This year $289,435, which is great news. And new listings down. So listings last year, 119. Right now, last month, only 78. So year to date, though, sales are still holding on up 6.2% from the year to date, same first 4 months last year. The overall price year to date up 27.3% at 284,710. So I do probably just think we'll probably see that 6.2% increase get really erased here as the new data comes in from this month as declines continue to come through. Conway area, 29526, 29527, closed sales up, which is great, up 20.6% last month. So one of the few areas that had the opposite swing, and sales were up there, which is great. And that really has to do with inventory, a lot of building out there, a lot of things going on in Conway area, which is great for homeowners out there. Median sales price up 28.6% last month. So last year was $226,125. Last month, $290,720, which is awesome. New listings there up 4.2%. Year to date, Conway sales up 10.7%, and prices in Conway up 26% year to date. So that's great, great news there overall. Into Aner. Aner sales up not that many to kind of, it says 112%, but really it went from 8 to 17. And so that's good news there. Prices, though, check this out. This is something we've seen a lot. We sold a few out there recently. Prices through the roof. One of the biggest gains we've seen in terms of year-over-year price. So price up 57.9% in Aner. And again, there's different types of properties. We sold horse farms out there. We sold small single families. We sold some with acreage, some not with acreage. So it all depends on property type. But last year, the overall median price is $184,848. This year, $291,800. So great, great news here. Year-to-date closed sales in Aner up 44.7%, which is awesome. And year-to-date prices up 10.8%. What you're seeing there is as affordability gets tough closer to the beach, you're seeing people purchase more inland. We've been selling out of properties in Marion lately, all kind of different stuff. So Carolina Forest closed sales also down double digits, down 22% last month. The good news, price is still up 29.5%. Last year is $324,21. Right now, $428,16. So $428,016. Great news here overall. Huge spike in listings. Carolina Forest, new listings up 29.7%. So they're sitting a little bit longer. More people putting their property in the market. Again, if I'm a home seller, I don't want to wait till it gets flooded. You obviously see it may take a little longer, and you may start to see prices soften based on how much inventory comes in the market. Year to date, Carolina Forest sales down 5.0%. And prices up 35.2%, which is awesome. Last couple ones here into Soxie, same thing. Soxie sales down 26.1% year versus year. Prices, though, up 37.4% from $240 up to $330,468. So about $90,000 in equity for the average homeowner in Soxie just in the last 12 months, which is awesome, awesome stuff there. New listings also jumped up 31.9% in that scenario. Into Garden City, Myrtle's Inlet. Also, same exact thing. Sales down 35% in Myrtle's Inlet, Garden City, 29576. Very, very interesting there. Prices, though, huge jump in price of 42.5%. So last year, $324,000. This year, $461,855. Year to date, sales are also down in that area, down 15.3%. And prices year to date up 29.3%. Last couple here, Pawleys Island, Litchfield, same thing. Sales down significantly, down 33.8%. The good news, though, prices are through the roof, up 42.5%. And that was already one of the highest in zip codes. We saw a good amount down there as well. So last year, 434,273. This year, 618,650. So massive increase in equity for homeowners in that area. We're seeing a lot of people cash out there as well. Into Georgetown. Georgetown sales up a little bit, of 12.9%, which is great. Prices also up 6.9%. So last year, $261,990. This year, 280,000 even. So as you see, big swings in different areas. It's important that you have an agent or somebody can help understand the micro market data all the way down to your zip code. But the one key thing is in the key areas that really kind of drive the economics of the area, you're seeing huge declines in terms of the amount of property sold. And in many cases, it's really, outpacing the overall inventory. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with price. The good news is the inventory is super tight. It will protect price for a while, but you are seeing it soften pretty significantly. One thing that's really driven that over the last 5 weeks and a little bit longer has been interest rates. And so interest rates were up. They dropped back down a little bit this past week. Last week's show was 5.35%. It jumped up a little bit during the week, then back down 5.36% right now for a 30-year fixed rate, which is good. The high we hit recently was at 5.64. So it's back down from 5.64 to 5.36. 15-year fixed rate, 4.80%, which is good there. 30-year FHA, 5.0%. A 30-year jumbo loan, 4.75%. And a 5-year adjust rate mortgage right now, 4.60%. So a little bit of opportunity there. Obviously, the stock market had massive challenges lately. It really helped the bond market out, which has helped rates a little bit. But obviously, that's something that really kind of made a lot of buyers pump the brakes. We were talking about high-end buyers looking at a property on the waterway for $1.2 million and talked about the difference in rate, just how it was not long ago, jumped their payment over $1,200 a month. And so that's just something that you want to really kind of look at, as many buyers are pumping the brakes. There's less buyers that qualify for your property. So we'll talk more about that. If you want to know what your property is looking at, what to really do, if you're not really sure what to do, reach out, call us. I'm more than happy to chat with you about it. Again, we're here for a very, very long time. I think 12 plus years doing this show. Our job is to serve you, give you the right information, help you make the best decision. So take a quick break. Right back here in a second with some awesome success stories. How are we looking at time, Dave?
Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find the agent with the best tools in marketing to get the highest sales price possible for a home.
Totally true, Clay. If you're in Myrtle Beach, that agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee.
Get this, Blake guarantees.
We're looking at-
Only gonna have about a minute and a half or so in there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And since you know what your current home will sell by and for how much you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck.
There's simply no other agent in the market who has a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 five-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group.
And tune in to Blake's show Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. About a minute and a half left. Just wanted to talk about hot buyers alert. My team and I are working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers, and we need inventory. If you think about selling anywhere from $250,000 up to $4.3 million, reach out, give us a call, 843-808-SOLD. One thing we talk about all the time is we outspend the average agent here 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint, have buyers from all over the globe that come in, and we share every week how many active buyers we have. Right now, we have 68,005 buyers. We crossed that 68,000 mark. 68,005 active home buyers looking to buy here who are on my website searching daily. And obviously, we have a very, very low inventory everywhere. And so that's something super important. So want to know more about that? Reach out, call us, 843-808-SOLD. Anybody you know you talk to, have them reach out and call us. Really quick, awesome success story. Jan owned a property in Myrtle Beach that was flooded twice in 2016, 2018. She wasn't able to renovate the home. Had wanted to renovate it, but wasn't really sure what to do. She was very concerned, though, because she didn't want to sell it as is. Thankfully, she reached out and called us. We said, look, we can get it sold for you ASAP. We have hundreds of investors who are more than happy to fix it up for us. We designed a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, virtual reality walkthrough. In 2 days, with massive traffic, had Jana offered $20,000 over asking price and $40,000 more than she thought she could actually get for her home. And so she's excited to move on with that and put massive money in her pocket. Again, just by calling us, we put $40,000 more in her pocket. So don't make that $40,000 mistake. Reach out, call us, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com anytime.